Welcome back to the Dream Journal. I'm Patrick Fitzgerald Fleck, and with me are Matthew Ledger.
Hello.
And Mike Drew.
Hello.
And joining us for the first time from our friends over at SJW Comic Book Club, I'm excited to introduce our first guest host, Veronica.
Hi. So happy to be here.
I'm glad you could join us.
Yes.
Now, for the uninitiated, you want to give a rundown of what the SJW Comic Book Club is?
Yes. So the SJW Comic Book Club is a weekly book club style podcast where three friends discuss a story arc in comics from a literary and progressive point of view, to steal my friend Monte's introduction. It's me and my friends Monte and Melissa, and we pick a comic, usually on a theme, and then we talk about it like we're still in school and take it way too seriously.
You have to. You've done an episode on the Sandman, right?
Yes, we did A Game of You, which you guys have not covered yet in your dream
We'll
journal.
get there. We're going to get there.
Something for us to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
This time, we're going with Volume 4 of the Sandman Seasons of Mist. All right, Matt, give us the synopsis.
Sure thing. In Season of Mist, Dream finally figures out what we as readers have known for quite a while. He is a bit of a jerk.
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
He's a big ol' a-hole sometimes.
Mhm.
As a result, the Lord of Dreams journeys to hell to free his former love, Nada, from the torment he inflicted upon her thousands of years ago. However, Morpheus receives some punishment of his own when a done with this shit Lucifer hands over the key to a locked and empty hell.
And goes to Perth.
And goes to Perth real good, by the way.
Western
Just
Australia.
so you know, A+ Perth.
I
couldn't
find it
recommend that more highly.
convenient that you've gone to Perth and Lucifer's gone to Perth. Therefore, you are.
I read this book for the first time in Perth, actually, I believe.
Were you on a beach looking at the sunset?
No, I think I was in like a dorm room apartment.
I'll take it. It's fine.
That's
Question.
close enough.
Has anyone
Yes.
ever seen Matt and Lucifer in the same room at the same time?
Oh, damn.
That is not. I cannot confirm or deny.
Damn.
As Morpheus ponders what to do with hell, matters quickly spiral out of his control, much like this introduction just did for all of us.
Let's get to discussions, I guess. Who wants to go first? What do we feel is the best one to start with?
So I was thinking, and feel free to veto me if I'm wrong,
Love
that
to.
it might be best to lead with your question, Pat, because your question is an actual human-centric question about like the heart of the story and why it happens in the first place, and the rest of us just want to talk about hell for the most part.
Yeah, I guess mine needs to go beginning or the end.
Yeah, I think we could kick it off with yours.
Okay. All right. My question is, are you satisfied with the resolution of Nada's story? Because that's really what this whole issue is about.
Yeah, it is kind of the whole shebang, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the reason for the season. Wait, no, that's the wrong.
A miss.
A miss.
No, Mike, you were there. You got
You're
it.
there.
So close.
I'll start.
Please do. Yeah.
Satisfied? No. I think I think there could be more to it. Like, I don't know how necessarily to do it organically, but she accepted that apology pretty fucking
So
quick.
fast, right?
That's the thing, right? Like that's the sticking point.
Like it took a sincere apology. Yes, like she didn't let him do the half-hearted one, but it was still just one apology was all it took. And I mean, I know I tend to hold grudges and shit, but the stuff I hold grudges over is not me spending 10,000 years in damnation, being tortured to death on a constant basis. So I would probably need two. I would ask for two apologies. Like I'd want one
At least two, right?
Give me two.
Minimum.
Yep, and I'd also want breakfast. Like I want some. Give me some,
Oh,
give me some damn chicken and waffles or something. Like I want
chicken
some good.
waffles.
Yeah.
I mean, we're certainly not making out
No.
after
No,
we're
we're
not,
not. I'm not.
that's for sure.
You're not getting a fucking kiss. I want
Absolutely not.
You owe me more.
That is the part that really bothered me, is that she embraces and then kisses him after. It's like, no.
I mean, maybe their definition of love is different than mine, because I'm pretty sure if my wife condemned me to hell for 10,000 years, I wouldn't kiss her right away. I would need a week. I
week.
I need a week. I
Need
need
a
a
minute
week.
to cool down.
Or go to Perth or something.
What do you think, Veronica?
Yeah. Well, what I just accidentally said was you would need a minute to cool down, which is kind of the point of view I've always had of it, is that like this is a story that's been going on for 10,000 years, and that's plenty of time to decide I'm still mad, obviously, because affecting me in everyday life. But at the same time, like in the long view, I need you to take up less psychic space in my brain.
Okay.
And that's why I kind of am satisfied with not necessarily the kiss, but once again, like immortals, whatever, unfathomable. Um, but the like abruptness of it, like one talk and then it's like, I'm out of here. Show me the door, please. I'm okay with that.
Peace.
Yes, like Morpheus does not need to be part of Nada's story anymore. He's already taken up too much of it.
I like that.
That is fair.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just I in my head I think of them as a married couple, even though they're definitely not.
Oh, they're certainly
They're
not.
definitely not.
Like that's the part of the whole
That's
the
the
whole
problem.
deal, right?
Yeah.
It's
They're
like-
definitely not.
What do you think, Matt?
So I agree with both Mike and Veronica actually in that like
Classic, Matt.
yeah, no, right? Pat, now you say something, I'll disagree with it. No.
I'm getting that.
No, but I think Veronica's right in that there's only so long you can be pissed off about a thing before you just have to like you either get rid of it or it owns you, right?
Mhm.
And I think she just chose to get rid of it. But at the same time, she also hasn't been confronted by Dream, except for I guess the brief scene in issue 1. Like they haven't had this close of a conversation where she could actually like tell him how she feels and be pissed off at him and like not like it feels to me like even if you had jettisoned the feelings before this, they would come to the surface again here, and you wouldn't be quite as quick to forgive or accept like Dream's apology, which is still pretty half-hearted, right? Like
It is. Like he had to be provoked to give an actually like semi-remorseful apology.
75% remorseful, not fully.
provoked twice, slapped in the face, and then also confronted with like, "Hey, what are you gonna do? Send me back to hell?" Like you freed me because you knew you acted wrongly, and yet he's still struggling with thinking he acted wrongly, which I think makes sense for the character. He's a very
The audacity of him to say "you dare" when he gets slapped. It's like, yes,
Mhm.
Morpheus.
no, right?
She fucking dares.
Yes, she dared
She
to give
dares.
you 2 seconds of pain, you
Oh.
immortal non-pain feeling creature.
Yes, I think that's such a good moment for Dream's progress as a character.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what I
Gets
what I was
slapped more
coming
often.
around to
Yeah, he should.
is that he feels even in attempting to change, he feels very stuck.
Hmm.
And I think that actually might dovetail into your question very neatly, Veronica. So maybe we should just move on to talk about that. But I don't know if Pat's gotten to say his piece yet
He's got to.
because I don't feel like I've disagreed with anyone properly.
You haven't had. There hasn't been the opposing. No, I agree.
There hasn't been anger in my heart yet.
No,
so
we'll
Pat
get there.
must-
We'll build it up. It'll be fine. 10,000 years.
No, but seriously, I don't think you got a chance to talk, Pat. So I don't wanna seg us too fast.
It's 10 millennia this woman has been like, it's not just she was like imprisoned, she was actively tortured for
Mhm.
10 millennia. So I can understand like the mental fortitude for her to like set aside her anger. Like if this is the amount of anger that she allows herself, that's just awe-inspiring. Like
It's kind of superhuman, right? And I think it also comes back to a thing we talked about last time where sometimes the handling of female characters in Sandman is like it doesn't feel particularly deft. And this one is
the
not
kiss really bothered me. It's like, okay, maybe forgiveness. Maybe I have a sort of problem with giving forgiveness that quickly, but sure. But then the fact that she kisses him, it's like, come on, no.
Maybe he's a really good kisser. Maybe I've never kissed Dream, so I guess I don't know.
see if you can try it tonight, Mike, and then report back for episode 5.
I will. I will let you know.
And we haven't actually discussed the real resolution, which is the fact that Nada is reborn in a new body.
Which I'm fine with. I think if that's something that, did she actually say she wanted that, or did Dream just give her a second life?
She was given some amount of choices, it seems like. She says, I've chosen the second of the choices you gave me. It seems easiest somehow. So he gave her probably the ability to just move on because we've seen people given the ability to, like, they've died. Death has, like, taken them to hell, but then they go to, like, the super death zone, whatever that is, right?
Hmm.
Where they just cease to be, which is
L2.
different than dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Third floor.
It seems like a strange ending for Nada. Like, we get introduced to her with this mythological African story that's passed on from male to male of this tribe.
Hmm.
I, to be reborn as it was Hong Kong, right? So a young Chinese
Yeah.
girl,
Boy.
boy. Is it a boy? I thought it was a girl.
Well, canonically, according to all wikis that I know of, it is a boy.
Oh, okay.
I guess that this might be a penis.
Yes.
I'm looking at
Oh.
the baby.
I guess I didn't examine
heard
the
that a
baby
lot.
fully.
You know, to be fair, Pat, I didn't either till just this moment, but this is why we podcast.
There's
so
a
we can tell the
penis,
people.
listeners. There's a penis.
Yes. I think, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but this child appears again in a later story where every Sandman character appears again, if you
Oh,
know
sure.
of what I am
Yeah.
speaking.
There's a gathering of such.
I can't
Mhm.
imagine what that would be for.
Well, that's cool. I'll keep an eye out. Is it weird that she gets reborn as a man?
No.
At least a little bit, right?
I think it's a good point about like the malleability of identity. And my impression was always because she was a queen, right? At least according to the
Yeah.
story we hear. I think
Mhm.
because that story's back in Doll's House, isn't it?
Yes.
Um,
It's the
Yeah.
introduction. Yeah.
Both there and when she's talking to Dream here when she slaps him, and slightly after that, I believe, we get the point hammered home slightly that that might not be the exact straight up truth. Um, but it seems like maybe she just wants to live like a normal life, totally disconnected from her previous life, totally forgetting that.
Right.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
just poor Nada. Like, did not have a great
Yeah.
time. I also started to have a problem that Death took 10,000 years to point out that Dream did her wrong. Like, did it
And
really?
it wasn't even really death, right? It was desire.
Well,
Like
Desire made
somehow
fun of him, like embarrassed him, and then Death is like, you know what? Desire's telling the truth. Sort of.
desire in its constant attempt to be a shitheel somehow ended up doing a good thing.
But yeah,
When was the last time that there was a family meeting? Like,
it's been a while.
do you think the family's been together since?
Well,
since
Death has
Dream-
been with Morpheus.
That's true. But she's been busy. She's been killing people. So
She doesn't kill people. We've explained this last episode.
Have you tried talking and working? It's not easy. You gotta focus on one thing. And that's not just a thing you bring up. That's a, hey, you know that woman you loved that you committed to hell? Yeah, you're kind of a douche.
It is one of those things that you would certainly talk around, right?
Yeah.
Like
Let's set up a time to talk about this. Let's not talk about this while we're going to work.
I think you talk about this. I don't think you tiptoe around.
I don't know, Pat. Like there are certain things that I don't talk about with people I'm close with because you're just like, you don't want to. Maybe not this time. Maybe maybe let's just enjoy this one.
10,000 years.
Well, she might not even have done anything except that here, Dream kind of asked her, probably for the first time. I
do the wrong thing?
Right.
Yeah.
I was justified, right? And she's like, well, no.
Now that you ask, no.
You done bad.
Turns out you condemned someone to hell for like 10,000 years. How? Where are these Endless's parents? They were not brought up well. That's a spoiler for Overture, sort of, or a tease, I guess.
I haven't read that yet.
Oh,
Don't
boy.
spoil. Don't
Yeah,
spoil.
I've never read Overture. Is this the first time that we meet all of them, by the way?
It is.
It is.
Delirium is
Ooh.
introduced in this
Yeah.
Delight.
for the first
Delight.
Delight
Former
and
delight.
delirium.
Former Delight, yeah. Yeah, the introduction to this is fun. I always like when the Endless
I
gather.
think that's the first time we've seen Despair too. I don't know if we've seen her before.
We have.
No, we've seen Despair talking to Desire.
In
but,
Doll's
like,
House.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Right.
it was
right.
like one page. Yeah.
I know we see Destiny at one page in the first book.
Mhm.
But this is the first time I think we've seen them all talking. Yeah, okay. I'm
Right.
sorry. I'm just thinking through it.
All
Oh,
laid
dear,
out
no worries.
explicitly in order.
Yes.
Yeah, I think To actually TLDR your question, Pat, it seems like we're all at least like relatively satisfied with the resolution in Nada's story, but we wanted a little bit more
I'm
potentially.
leaning towards not satisfied, but yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly, like this. So rereading this one, I think is the most different I've felt about a volume of Sandman than the first time I read it. I would imagine so far at least, because there are certain places, and this is definitely one of them where I came to I came to it and I was like, no, that's not right, or like I don't like that, and like I don't remember having that feeling the first time I read this volume so much. So
Yes. I had that a
maybe it's
lot.
just I understand what 10,000 years of anger would do to a person at this point. Anyways, Veronica, you were saying?
Yes, I had that a lot when we read A Game of You, because not only because I read all these in high school, the Core 10 and Endless Nights, and that was the first time I'd read it in probably like 7 or 8 years, and I was reading it with my friends, and they're having their views on it, and I'm seeing it through their eyes at the same time, and I'm like, ooh, this is different.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Same with this one, except they're not going to read it. Haha.
Maybe they will.
Maybe someday. Maybe they'll listen to this and then they'll read it and then they'll.
One can hope.
Oh God. Then they'll yell at me.
And they can disagree with us.
Yeah.
Someone should.
I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about how Dream going to hell to release Nada is at least like somewhat of a change in his character. And I think part of the reason Death most likely hasn't even brought this up to him is she figures that he wouldn't care. And now he does, it seems like.
I guess.
And one of the other.
Sorry, I just want to
Oh, go
jump
ahead,
in right
Pat.
there. He's
Yeah.
going to hell to get Nada. I felt not because he has remorse or worries for Nada's welfare, but because he wants to right his wrong.
Oh, certainly, right? It's
Again,
definitely
just
more about
like-
him. It's
Yeah.
more about him than her.
It is.
Dream.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think it's also tied to the fact that he was also in prison for, what was it, 100 years
Yes.
on Earth?
50 years, 80 years, sometimes, yeah.
Some
70,
much
70.
smaller time frame where he was not actively being tortured the entirety of the time.
Yeah.
You
Have
should
I done wrong?
You should have talked to
Have I
Nada.
done wrong?
I understand what you went through, Nada. I was in a bubble for 70 years.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't live a mortal lifetime.
And that's
so,
when
like,
Nada slaps
it's really
him
like a
again.
second to me. But I still really
It
hated
was so
it.
hard.
So I
Nada,
get
you
it.
have no idea.
Yes. And that's the
Let me
one
mansplain this to you.
that's the one thing that has spurred him to change is being in captivity. That's the whole inciting incident of this whole comic.
So we do see that Dream is at least trying, kind of failing. Well, he's
In his way.
moderately succeeding,
Yeah.
like, to change. And I think that kind of dovetails into your question, Veronica, which is...
Yes. So my question was, what effect do you think Lucifer's abdication of hell has on Dream from a character development standpoint specifically?
So I have another TLDR answer to this question, which I think is my theme of the night, is like I have forward answers to all these questions. Mine is none yet.
Ooh, good
I
point.
think.
I do think this will have, like, obviously it annoys him, is the immediate reaction is.
I don't think it even annoys him. I think he doesn't even he doesn't comprehend it.
Mhm.
He doesn't understand you could even do it.
No.
Like, do you see that page where it's 3 panels of Dream's face just trying to like figure out like, what is Lucifer tricking me? Like, what's going on?
Yes.
No, but what are you doing?
It's like 3 different surprise Pikachu faces in a row, and it's great.
Yes, Lucifer says I've quit, and then there's 3 great Kelly Jones Dream facial expressions that can be summed up as surprised Pikachu faces. Yes, Veronica. Absolutely.
Surprise Pikachu is the baseline of comparison for all shock.
Oh, actually, his first line of dialogue after that is actually, I do not understand. There's some trick here, some stratagem or ruse. Like,
You're lying.
he doesn't get it.
To be fair, it is Lucifer.
True.
Yes, to be fair, but I think what makes me say none yet specifically is a scene on that page that we don't really like. We're not on Dream Kiss. 2 panels after that, Dream says he has his responsibilities and he cannot abandon them. And she says, so you said a very long time ago. So, like, he's, again, still can't comprehend changing his function or like not being in his station.
Mm-hmm.
So I think none yet is where we're at the moment, but foreshadowing / spoilers, like that yet's a really important word in that answer, I
Well,
think.
I think they foreshadow a bunch of stuff earlier with Veronica. I think you mentioned the fact that he refers to destruction as the prodigal,
Mm-hmm.
which of course is referring to the biblical prodigal son story about the
Yes.
son who runs off with the inheritance and has fun with the money until it runs out and comes back, but his father still welcomes him. And the older brother who stayed to work the field is very upset. So I
Yes.
think by calling destruction prodigal, I think Dream is casting himself as the older brother, the one who's still responsible, and is
Yes.
looking at his younger brother who's run off and abandoned his duties.
I just learned that prodigal actually just means like spendthrift, but because of that story, we now consider it to mean like the black sheep of the family who's gone away or whatever.
I think I have to agree with Matt.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You should
We'll
be.
send you a card and flowers, Mike. We're sorry.
But I mean, immediately in this story, that I guess I'm gonna draw back to the Nada bit, where he frees Nada, gets Nada back out of hell. I mean, hell's closed, so I guess Lucifer actually did that himself. So really, what did Dream do? Anyways, at the end, Nada, they're kissing and making up, and there's that moment where he's like, "Well, you could still be my queen," and she's like, "Or you could quit what you're doing, and we could go be human together."
Hmm.
And he's like, "No, I can't." And I mean, why the fuck not? We just went through this whole book where you had a very clear person who is in a position much like yourself, overseeing a realm that is a responsibility and he has duties, and just fucking closing up shop. And like, ultimately, what was Lucifer's motivation for that? We don't know. But Dream
He was
should.
tired.
He was tired. He wants to go sit on the beach and jerk off in Perth.
I don't think it was jerking off, but
I don't know. I was
what
reading it.
happens in Perth stays in Perth.
I don't think he has the anatomy to jerk
He
off.
does
Actually,
not have any genitals.
Yes.
What a shame.
It's more of a mental thing, really.
I guess. But it's so I don't know. I would assume that love, if he still loved her, would be a pretty powerful motivator if you're actually trying to make a big decision to move on to do something new. Like that would be for me a pretty powerful motivator.
But I think, like Veronica was pointing out, the fact that Dream's imprisonment has shaped his actions
Mhm.
since. So I think the fact that he was imprisoned for a mere 70 years, which is nothing for him.
It's still the blink of an eye. The sand through the hourglass.
Yeah, it was like not whatever. It was 70
Mhm.
years. And shit sort of hit the fan. Like things fell apart quick. And he's trying to clean it up still. So I think that is in the back of his mind. Is like, I could never leave. They need me. Things were horrible when I
he
wasn't
calls
here.
a whole big council, right, before he goes to hell, and like specifically to say,
Yeah.
"Hey, this is how things are gonna go if I get waylaid again. Like, this is what's gonna happen. This is the procedure. If y'all fuck up again, I'm gonna be really upset."
Which was also really
Meanwhile,
interesting.
Lucifer's packing it in.
It was interesting in the like preparation. He does say, if I am killed in hell, be kind to the new aspect of Dream.
Mhm.
Yeah, which,
What?
again, none yet.
What?
Yet.
What? I think you all are getting at aspects of what I was thinking as well. Matt, you're absolutely right that
God dang it.
a better phrasing would be that like what effect rather than what effect, like what seed has been planted in Dream's mind that may come to fruition later. And yeah, I have a lot of opinions on the overarching character arc of Dream. I'll try to keep it to non-spoiler. But yeah, that like being imprisoned, and I think being imprisoned for any length of time would have had this effect on him. It's basically taught him like some kind of humility, which has triggered this movement towards thinking about having empathy. that has really thrown him off and has started moving him less from being a god type character to being more of,
Remote.
yeah,
Yeah.
to being a person. I mean, I think all sentient things are people. But yeah, to being a person like regular people. And then this, I think, is the next step in that character arc where he's being thrown off a little bit by just the idea that you can abdicate your responsibilities.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point, and I think it connects to what Pat said earlier
Mhm.
in that between the two of you, you've basically created a dream that has started to think about what a world without him would look like,
Exactly.
which does very much connect to the Lucifer abdication.
Yes.
So, bits and seeds, yeah.
Tying back to what the Endless are is also probably just messing with his head. The fact that the Endless are personifications of their functions,
Mhm.
like would abandoning what you do as an end, what do you do? Who are you? What are you if you aren't the Endless doing the thing
Yeah, right?
that you
Like, the
are?
name is Endless. Like,
Right.
He is,
stopping is
his
an
name is
end.
Dream, and he also is Dream.
Right. And it's really hard for him. And going forward from this point, staying away from spoilers, the big struggle with Dream is going to be about how and whether he can change in that way, whether he can bear to change and do things like that.
Seem like you got to sympathize with Dream. It's the work-life balance that he's struggling with. So
It's the hardest
All
thing to
work, no
balance.
life.
It's all
it's rough.
it's an art.
Yes.
So I actually have one like last thought on this one, and I think it dovetails into my question maybe actually from
How
there.
convenient.
I know, right? No, but I've actually I've been kicking this around for a couple minutes. I think there's a lot to unpack in the fact that Lucifer gives Dream the key to hell,
Mm.
and Dream cares about that because he really could just not, right? Like he doesn't have to do anything
Like
with it.
propriety seems to be really important to Dream. Like there's things that need to be done, so you respect
Mhm.
the fact that it needs to be done.
Right? That's the thing
Responsibilities.
is like
Yeah.
keeping it and keeping hell empty and just like doing whatever, like it's just not done, as they say,
That's the
right?
reason why
Like,
he went to hell through the main gates and not through the side. Like there were side
mhm.
entrances that he knew about, but no, Lucifer knows I'm coming, so I must go through the front gate.
And I
Right.
think that says a lot about how he's still functioning, even though I think there are bits and pieces and threads that we're all kind of pulling at to be like, hey, he's changed, but at the same time, he hasn't. So
Yeah.
that's like, and that's in that Nada scene at the end too, where like he went to hell mostly because he wanted to feel better about himself.
Yeah,
But he did go, and he freed Nada.
sort of.
Yes. And then she slapped him and he immediately reverted to form, which is
Yep.
like you're
Baby
trying,
steps,
guy, but are
baby
you really?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's building better habits, and that's hard.
Yeah,
It's easy to revert.
2 steps forward, 1 step back sometimes,
Mhm.
so I think having discussed the fact that Lucifer has the key to hell and decides he has to do something with it, who would you all have given hell to if God hadn't stepped in and literally done a Deus Ex Machina at the end?
Oh,
Mike,
that's a
do you
good
know?
question. I would have probably kept it myself. Like honestly,
So I think that's my answer too, like
I'm trying to like who all shows up. You got the
You
Norse
got
pantheon.
logic, you got
you got
chaos,
Logic, chaos. What's the
Egypt,
why Egypt,
Japan, Norse
Japan?
the
mythology.
fairies who don't actually want it, they just don't want anyone else to have it,
Yep.
which is really what everyone wants, it seems like, by the end, but
Mhm.
whatever.
And you
And
got
here's my sister either way.
Yeah,
and
which oof.
you've got the lesser demons, and then the angels from on high here to observe.
Which again, we're ruling them out in this question
Yeah,
because
they're not there. They're there to observe.
one of the things that really hit me on the reread that I didn't really think about the first time or didn't feel as strongly about is that the book is really anticlimactic, you guys, or at least it feels like that to me.
Oh, the twist about not confronting Lucifer.
Or so not even that. That's cool. Like that is unexpected and cool. And here's the key to hell, and that causes a dilemma for some reason. Though I think Mike and I will disagree with that actually have been a dilemma. It sounds like, but there's what 2 to 2.5 issues devoted to like Dream has to make this choice. It's going to be so difficult. Who does he give hell to? How will that affect the world? The dead are rising. And then none of it matters because God just says, give it back to me, and then Dream gives it back to him.
Yes. It is really anticlimactic, but I think that it's very thematic to what we were just talking about.
Mhm.
Because this is all, like we were saying, like Dream really feels like he has to do something about this. It's his responsibility, and it's full of like pomp and ceremony and ritual, old ritual. And then he gets to a point where he's like, why is this? What is the point of all of this? What is the point of holding on to all these weird, overly like overblown things and ceremonies with all these gods? And then it just kind of peters out when he realizes it is pointless.
I probably would have given it to Bast.
Thank you.
She had the hardest time there. Just give
Yeah,
it to her. She had to deal with Thor.
she
What a
did.
what a fuckhead.
She did have to do it.
Well, I mean, the angels themselves say, "Hell is heaven's reflection, heaven's shadow." They define each other. There must be a hell, for without hell, heaven has no meaning. Which is big statement for gaming to be saying.
That's okay. Well, I want to circle back to that because what the fuck does that mean?
Sure.
Let's just do it now, huh?
Without torture, paradise doesn't seem like paradise. Like, what kind of fucking paradise is it if you need something that bad to make it look good?
Well, it's a very, very jaded opinion on humans in general, right? The fact that they need the whip, they need the carrot to strive for.
Yeah, it's a good commentary on humanity because hell is not in the Bible. That's not part of the older mythos, you know?
I don't think
I mean-
Gaiman thinks much of humans with that comment.
Also think looking at it back when the Bible would have been written, life was fucking difficult.
Hmm.
Like you don't need to have endless torture because you basically have that for all of existence. There's not a great deal of comfort
Could be
to
worse,
go around.
Mac. It could be worse.
I guess it could be worse. We could all be tortured forever for 10,000 years. That'd be great. But I mean, it seemed like it was more just built in to scare people into being good little Catholics
Yeah.
or Christians or whatever.
Christians, yeah. It's interesting because we get a lot of opinions about what hell is and what it does. Because we got the angels saying there needs to be hell for people to strive for heaven, and then we get Lucifer saying people just come to hell to fulfill their desire for pain and retribution. He doesn't make them come there. He doesn't need
Yes.
their souls. They just hate themselves and they have to face up to that fact.
Or they have an overblown opinion of the importance of the terrible things that they did.
Right. It's the
Yep.
it's the damned wanting to be punished. It's more
Mhm.
wallowing in suffering than it is any kind of redemption, which was fun twist at the end when the angels twist that on the damned and say, no, no, no. This isn't torturing for torture's sake. This is to redeem you. And they cry out, no, that's so much worse. What have you done?
Why have you done
Came here to hate myself, not engage in self-care. Quote unquote self-care.
Because they would
Not
have
to
to look
confront
at
my
themselves.
motivations.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that's
that
fun.
reminds me of the cereal convention a lot too and how that ended.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Talking to all of you guys, actually, like we had so many different things to like unpack from just the structure of DC Comics hell existing, what that means, especially when pacting with other theologies. Like I know Veronica, you had mentioned like, do we feel that the creator, quote unquote, the Christian Judeo God is more powerful than all the other deities?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think technically yes in this, but it might just be that Neil Gaiman thing where there are more people that believe in quote unquote him
Right.
than
I did have
the other deities. I don't know.
I had a twinge when Dream was like, oh, Lucifer is so much more powerful than me. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
nonsense, right?
Okay.
Like,
Well, I think that's an interesting aspect of the Endless that I often forgot when I was reading it first is like they have a lot of power and they're different from gods, but gods can be more powerful than them, apparently.
I guess.
So they say.
or at least powerful like in different ways, or on their planes they're more powerful
Right.
potentially. Like, here's a
In
question
their
for
seat of
y'all.
power. Yeah, go ahead.
Does Lucifer dream?
You'd have to, right?
Does Lucifer sleep?
Does he sleep? Is the
Just
question.
supposed to be nodding off in Perth.
All right. I don't think I've answered the question.
No, I mean, to be fair, we got like 5 steps away from the question.
Yeah,
pretty
I think
quickly.
Mike said he would give it to Bast.
Yep, just because she had to deal with Thor.
Yes. So if this were a Fallout game and I had to choose a faction,
Yes.
Yes,
um,
and you do.
I think my sympathies lie with weirdly the demons, even though I don't have any sympathy for them because their argument is that's our land.
That's a home.
Or alternately, the fairies, who aren't even one of the like main faction options. They're like secondary, like the Minutemen, where they just want it to be empty. And I have sympathy for them as well, because they just don't want to be, taxed, essentially.
Yeah, they sacrifice 7 of their wisest to hell every
Yes,
whatever it
That's-
is. That's awful.
that's a thing. So yeah, I'd say either give it to the demons or keep it empty.
Pat, did you answer?
I have not. Thank you for
Okay.
noticing.
Again, we got 6 steps away from the question.
As we do.
Quickly.
As we do.
So-
Well, though, I think because the question brings up a lot of stuff that has to be unpacked from within the story and
Mhm.
like the structure of DC Comics theology, which is, oh boy, that's a mess. Anyways, I did it again, Pat.
You did.
You answer?
I still haven't answered. It's true, but I'm about to like do a little side shoot off of mine too, so don't worry about it. What do you guys think about that? Like one issue boarding school, 2 ghost boys. Well, one not ghost and then ghost. It was a heavy one, and I think the thesis is that quote that I think hell is something you carry around you, not somewhere you go,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was really deep, and also
I mean, that certainly fits with what Lucifer is saying about how he sees hell's function or has seen it before he abdicated.
hell's a state of mind, which woof, I feel that sometimes.
I'll say that issue kind of directly led to my question: is why did everyone choose to go back to Earth? Like,
Well, why did all these guys choose to go back to their boarding
The
school?
school,
exactly?
yeah.
Like, I can think of very few places that I would rather not be, or like that I would rather be less than at a
We are
boarding.
getting ahead of ourselves, though. We're going into Mike's question, and
Oh,
Pat still is not.
Answer the goddamn question.
I'm sorry. So to answer Matt's question, I appreciate that Veronica took it as like she stepped into Dream's shoes and looked at what would the repercussions be of whoever gets the key for hell. I did a little research. I Wikipedia'd some stuff about what the Egyptian, Japanese, and Norse hell actually is and what that would mean, what we would turn quote unquote hell into by giving it to them.
Mm.
Nice.
So Egypt, their afterlife is called Duat, and that's where Anubis judges the dead by weighing their hearts against the feather of truth.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's heavier than the feather, they get eaten by the crocodile-headed goddess Ammit, and they just cease to be.
Yeah.
If it's lighter, they get to go to heaven, their version of heaven. So that's an option. The Japanese, which Susano showed up again, Matt. Wasn't that cool to see
I was gonna
Susano in
say,
another comic?
we've seen that guy before lately.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Where?
We just did oh my god, Usagi Yojimbo,
Oh.
which is a great comic series. But yeah, Susano. So many epilogues? No, what are they called?
Prologues.
Prologues, the opposite. Those things.
Yeah, he was in prologue 2 of 4.
That's just a whole prequel at that point.
It's true.
It was, yes.
Yeah, so the Japanese hell is Yomi, at least for the Shinto religion. Yomi, which is the polluted shadowland, and basically it's just an awful, gloomy place that you go to after you die. You're not being tortured, you just exist there.
Mm.
And then Norse is similar. It's hell, but with one L. But
Yes.
it's just another plane of existence. It's not like bad in any way. It's just you are now here instead of where you were. So looking at those, and obviously not looking at chaos and logic, because I would shudder to think what hell would be like under those two. I think I would give it to Norse just because it just seems like another place to be.
It's just chill then.
Yeah. So my option was Norse.
Do you think that in the way Dream assumes there are certain functions and protocols that must be followed, if he gave hell to someone else, would that deity or set of deities assume the same thing? And like, would it become the Norse version of Christian hell and not an extension of Norse hell? Does that make sense?
It does, but I thought all of the people, entities looking for the key had their own interests in mind, right?
And like, what were they all gonna do with it? Why was it such a big deal? Actually, now I'm coming around on this. Maybe this is a thing that I've just like. It's been so long since I like read the beginning of it,
It's
but
like,
I
you should
don't
reread it because they
remember.
go through some of it. Odin wants to dodge Ragnarok.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. That's me.
Susano just thinks that they've been running Japanese hell so well, they may as well do Christian hell,
They've got Marilyn Monroe now, so I mean, they may as well have hell too.
right?
I remember that
forgot
bit.
that. That's great. I don't remember what Bast is about and why they exactly want Christian hell.
I was gonna say, I know why the demons want it, and I think Veronica's argument for like give it to the demons because like turns out it's their home
Right.
is a good one, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, Matt, I don't think you've answered. Who would you give it to?
I mean, like, I think Veronica may. I was between two options, and I think Veronica may have
Agreeing with the
convinced me
guests. My God.
I know, right? First for Matt Ledger on the
Ah.
podcast. No, I can disagree with the guest, Pat. I can do it. I feel strong
No,
today.
no,
You are
Go-
strong. Don't ever change.
Go with your
Well-
true feelings, Matthew.
Well, here, cake or pie?
Hi.
Cheesecake.
You're wrong. It's cake, obviously.
All right, there we go. We did it. So I think there are two options that I would go with. I think it's either give it to the demons because, and this is actually, I think, a very dream option of like, they were already there, they were doing their thing. Like, they have these like little battles for who controls hell all the time. So, like, Lucifer leaving, not even really that big a deal.
Mhm.
Give it to them, let them do their thing. Plus, you accomplish what you wanted to accomplish in the first place, which is freeing Nada. Like, the hell thing is a big distraction from the whole, like, central thrust of the book, which is like, hey, I'm trying to not be a jerk.
Struggle.
Trying a little bit.
Yeah, a tiny bit. I think the other are like, just keep it. just don't do anything with it. Just lock it away. Watch that investment appreciate over time.
You point out, I don't think Dream could just idly sit by and not be. I think he would be forced to then
He'd have
be
to
the
occupy.
custodian of hell. Like, it would be Dream's hell.
Yeah, maybe he
Yes.
could expand the dreaming in there.
No, he totally does not have the capability
No.
of not making hell into hell. Like, especially currently, as we've talked about, where he's very still set in
There's
the
a
rote way
function
things
that
are supposed to
isn't
be.
being fulfilled at the moment, and he would just be. He couldn't not do it.
Which, in his defense, the dead are returning to life. So, I mean,
And it's a
someone's got to
problem.
get in there and make that stop happening. But there's no, like, there's not big upside in giving it to any of the people. Like, all the stuff he's presented with, outside of Nada being freed, which again is the thing he wanted in the first place. Like, it's not huge upside. Like, no one cares about the JSA, so we don't care about that Sandman. Like none of the like quote unquote boons or gifts he's being given are that big a deal. The being threatened by chaos is something, I guess. Although again,
Not
the
really,
DC cosmology order, I don't know power ranking wise how that works out.
Meh.
Yeah, I think Veronica might be right, honestly. Just give it to the demons. You accomplish what you wanted to do in the first place, and they do their thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Pat, you can agree with the guest too. We both can.
Yes, everyone agree with me.
I'm agreeing with that. Give it to Beth.
I think the demons would do some messed up stuff if they got the key to hell.
Well, like
They
it's
would.
hell, Pat. They're supposed to.
These are some of the least sympathetic demons of any of the demons I met in my hell season last season.
Hell was held to certain borders, right? That were respected,
Mhm.
that Lucifer kept guarded. I don't know if the demons would have such respect. I
That's a
think
good
hell
point.
might leak out.
Azazel. Oh, I don't have the other book with me. Is Azazel? Is he one of the three that's in the triumvirate?
Yes.
When
Yes.
okay,
yes.
so it's already one of the people who was ruling hell at one point, anyways.
Yeah, but they weren't actually ruling hell though. That was just Lucifer
No.
entertaining himself.
Yes, but like, just give it back to the people who
I
live
feel
there.
like there would be
man.
repercussions to giving.
Well,
free
you can
access
deal
to
with those
demons.
later.
Okay, well there you go.
Or if God is so invested in this thing and existing, like, make him deal with it.
I mean, according to this book, basically God created hell by creating heaven. So it was
Or at the
always
very least,
always
decided there
God's.
should be one, because even if Neil Gaiman doesn't hate humans, he thinks God does.
Yep. Yep.
Pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure Neil
Yep.
Gaiman thinks that. That's what I was saying right there. Sorry.
But yeah, talking about those demons and where are they going to go? Who knows? Mike, what's your question?
So let's say we four are recent refugees thrown from the gates of hell. Hell's closed. We've recently been tortured for X number of years. We
You
have
don't
our
to go
choice.
home, but you can't stay here.
Where the fuck do we go and why?
So of the realms in this book, you're saying are our
Yeah.
options? Okay.
Yeah, like of all the realms in this book that are obvious.
That's a good question, actually. Like, we see. So let's I guess it's worth probably walking through like where we see people go to, right? Because we see.
That's cool.
And I guess it is all people, actually. Well, people and demons. Sorry, demons are people too. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe at one point.
So we see humans return to Earth alive in the Dead Boys Detectives thing, which, to quickly answer your question, Pat, I bounced off that issue like 3 times trying to read this.
It's a weird one.
So we see humans returning to Earth, we see demons going to limbo. We don't really see anyone migrate anywhere else, correct?
Nope.
I mean, we don't have narrators anywhere else, so it's possible
Yes, this
that
is
they
true.
do. Like, we don't actually have anyone in Fairy or in
Asgard or whatever.
Asgard, or yeah. Yep.
anywhere else really to see that anyone's showing up. But I mean, I assume that they would because there's no rule, right? Because I mean, even like I would assume that they could go wherever the hell they want.
Seems like it would be
You're on it.
possible, though the fact that the demons go from hell to limbo, which again keeps them boxed into the like Christian Judeo concept of places.
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe it's you can only go there if you think you can go there, and so you're limited by what you can think. Anyways, it's still worth assuming for your question that you could go anywhere because it makes it much more interesting.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how much control people actually would have had because I mean, so many of them show up at the damn boarding school that I'm just wondering if it just you show up where you existed and you deal with it.
Well, to that point, Nada clearly did not have control of where she was going, right? Because I don't think she would have chosen to go to limbo with the demons.
Why not? It's a party. Demons are fun.
Yes, she looks like she's having a great time.
Yeah.
And she was captured by
He said,
Azazel before.
I don't know if I have an answer for it either. I don't think I'd go back to Earth though. If it's a vacation, I'm going somewhere nice. Let's go to Fairy. Right?
okay, oh, no, is Fairy nice?
No.
That is a question you have to ask
We don't know.
yourself.
Has anyone ever been there? I don't know. I bet it'd be nice.
Fairy
I mean,
can
Fairy.
be dangerous.
So can I.
You got to read some Dresden Files, Mike. It's not a good place.
I mean, you read this series Sandman, where like they're saying they're sacrificing people, they give women away as gifts. Puck is who knows what's going on there. Like
They're very capricious
I'm not going
there.
to not going to Fairy.
Fine, let's go to Japan. Japan sounds nice, or Japanese heaven pantheon area. I don't know what it's called.
I was gonna say, Pat, do you, as a person who did some research for this episode,
I didn't
unlike the rest
research
of us-
heaven. I can look it up real quick.
It's probably not Egyptian afterlife. That one also seems a little hard.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
either really good or you don't exist.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna chance that one.
I like Disney World too. I bet we could go to Disney World.
Ooh.
Do you choose where you go if you go to Earth, or you just show up random places on Earth?
Well, I mean, my answer was that beach in Australia. That's where I want to go.
Oh, that seems like a place where all the devils want to go.
That's a good
Beach in
one.
Australia is a good choice, Pat.
I mean, of the realms that we saw, that was the best option. I felt.
Well,
Though
is there?
Australia is really a hell of its own, really, if you think about it. So many
Aw.
spiders. So many spiders.
It's not only spiders.
The
There's
bugs. Part
Midwesterners,
of a problem.
There's some other
Just don't
venomous
go into the
things.
outback.
Midwesterners who go there for exchange trips. What the fuck? Ugh.
Right?
The
Oh,
entire continent is built to kill you, but that's neither here nor there.
Yes. Well, the question before you ask if you can go anywhere is, are you toxically hung up on any specific location, such as high
Yeah.
school or
right.
other
Oh,
things?
I can. That might be an interesting thing. If you're toxically hung up on something, you
Yeah.
automatically go back there because you're still technically in your own hell.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's where all these bullies in the boarding school, they're like very much like high school was the best years of my life or whatever. So
I
that's
bet
where they ended up.
schools would have been a real nasty place that week.
Yeah, I think I would wander the earth like Charles and Edwin if I could, or I would go to the dreaming and read all the unwritten books in Lucian's library.
Lucian's
See, the
library.
dreaming I think is another tricky one though, Veronica.
It
In the
is.
same way Fairy is, in that yeah, you might find the cool dreaming library and it's rad, but at the same time you might get attacked by New Corinthian
Yes.
when he pops up.
It depends on if you can score a station. Basically, can I get hired in the dreaming?
I do wonder if that's a choice that Dream would have given Nada or not, of the choices presented, which I don't think she would have taken because fuck that patriarchal bullshit,
To
right?
live in his realm.
I
He's
could
given
totally see
someone that
being a
option.
thing.
Did he tell Rose
Yeah.
that she could live in the dreaming?
Yeah, and we discovered that Matthew the Raven is
Oh, yeah, and
from a
Matthew.
Swamp Thing story.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
where
that.
he was given that option.
We read a
so-
Swamp Thing story that had Matthew Cable in it. He was a
Hey.
Oh,
jerk.
nice.
He was like addicted to drugs or something though, so he might not have been a jerk before that.
He has a nice balloon now.
He does. Yeah.
So Veronica, you're on Wander the Earth or hope it works out in the dreaming.
Yeah, if I can't score an internship in the dreaming, I'll just backpack across the earth. There you go.
Nice.
Library assistant in the dreaming does sound good, actually.
I am a library assistant. It's wonderful.
Hey.
Well, I mean, do the thing you're doing now, but better and more exciting.
Yes,
Does seem good.
with books that no one else ever got to read.
Yeah,
People laugh.
I'm wondering if Earth is just the most appealing of the options to, I guess, dead people because everything else is so different than.
So
I'm gonna
alien.
say Earth is known, right? But at the same time, that's kind of what
Yep.
traps those people too. Is they're so stuck in the thing that they know that they're just yeah, I'm going back there. I'm gonna go be headmaster again, or I'm gonna go be a terrible bully again.
Mhm.
No imagination, these people.
Mm-mm.
You don't. You got to think outside the box, outside the hell. I don't know if I have an answer besides Disney World or just trying to pick a random heaven and go to it, see what it's just to see what it's like. Like that's I feel like
Mm.
the story we got was interesting, but it would have been interesting to see if there was any other spot in the pantheon of locations.
You don't want to go to Silver City?
You can't visit there, actually. It
No.
says in the text, canonically.
You can't.
I was just looking at that one because I was paging through it. I was like, oh, let me find. There's specifically a caption that says that it cannot be visited or something like that.
I saw
Silver
it
City
coming.
doesn't sound fun. It sounds cold.
Sounds very
Yeah, it does seem bad. Also, I'm very surprised that you, Michael Richard Drew, did not try to swing your way into Valhalla in Asgard.
Ooh.
I mean, it's a thought. It's not it's not a bad thought. It's basically Stovacor, right? Which, speaking of Star Trek, it's the Klingon heaven where you die an honorable battle and then you drink with your fallen loved ones for the drink and fight with your fallen loved ones for all eternity. Sounds like a good time.
Sounds bomb.
Being the non-violent person I am, it sounds like it would be a good time.
You chose Disney World, so it's fine.
Disney World is one of them.
That is on brand, though, Mike. So I mean, at least you've got that going for you.
I mean, look at the food they got in Disney. You can't tell me that's not heaven.
It's overpriced heaven.
I think I'd rather take that Valhalla mead. I think I hadn't decided before we started because I wanted to talk it through, and think I'm settling on Asgard, specifically Valhalla, and when Ragnarok shows up, it's fine.
You're just gonna go to hell with one L, and it's just fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just keep doing like. I think Pat, yours is very much rooted in the like. I just want to chill out and enjoy myself, like on the beach in Perth, and
Yeah.
mine's the same thing, except I'll sit at a table with.
I don't know if
with
Asgard is
Viking
chill.
you.
I don't think it's. I think it's the opposite of chill. But
Valhalla though, Valhalla's got to be chill. Everyone's done. They're like, I'm done here.
No,
it's like
I
a
fought,
constant
and now I
rave.
just want to drink.
Maybe.
I bet it's like
Now
a party
I'm-
after it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
Everyone is too drunk and too mad.
and there's no food that will undrunk you.
Mhm.
You're just gonna be drunk.
I think that'll wrap it up for this entry of the Dream Journal. Veronica, I want to thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure to hear your perspective on this volume.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It's
Yeah.
nice to have someone intelligent in the podcast.
Oh, it's true. It was. And someone else Mac can bend over backwards to agree to, but it's fine. Please, Veronica, tell the listeners where they can find out more about SJW Comic Book Club.
Okay, so the SJW Comic Book Club is available wherever podcasts are served, and you can also find us on social media on Twitter and Instagram at SJW Comics Cast, or you can email us, as no one has ever done. Please email us at sjwcomicspodcast@gmail.com.
Well, next time we'll be discussing Volume 5 of The Sandman, A Game of You, which we had a little snippet of in the beginning. Hopefully we'll have different ideas of it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Buckle up.
Yeah. Until then, remember to give the devil his due. And, maybe give a little bit to Dream too.
Don't go to Perth. It's trapped.